Welcome back to the Ed Show. And finally tonight, the Wall Street protests are hitting a critical mass. More than 700 protesters were arrested Saturday after they shut down half of the Brooklyn Bridge. It is growing. The Occupy Wall Street movement has been growing here in New York City, and now protests are spreading into the rest of the country, like Boston, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, with protests planned in other parts of the country. Did anybody really think the American people were going to stand silent in the face of bottomless corporate greed? We have been talking about the middle class since I started this show on MSNBC, and of course, how it's been squeezed into oblivion.
I mean, I cannot believe that this is happening in my lifetime. I never thought I'd ever see America like this. You got Wall Street going through the roof, and you got Main Street paying all the bills. It's getting harder for them on education. It's getting harder for them on health care. The bills keep going up. In the meantime, all the money's flowing to the top. All the control is flowing to the top. All the tax breaks are flowing to the top, and they want to know why America's upset. I need two shows.
Let's bring in Leo Gerard, President of the United Steelworkers of America, who supports the Wall Street protests. Mr. Gerard, good to have you with us tonight. You know, look, I've been talking about it for a long time on this program, but I have to say I didn't think it was going to evolve into these kinds of protests across the country where 700 people were going to be arrested. What do you make of all of this? Where is this going to lead?
I think it's going to lead to a grassroots movement that's going to show that, as you said it, and you said it eloquently, that middle-class families aren't going to take it anymore. Middle-class families are going to fight back. Students aren't going to take it anymore. The people that worked in the manufacturing base that have seen that destroyed aren't going to take it anymore. And Ed, I saw a young man being interviewed that I think said it all. They said to him, "Why are you here?" He said, "Because I've got 2 master's degrees, college debts where I can't even afford to pay the interest, and I've got no job, and I know those guys are to blame." And I think you're going to see that in Pittsburgh and Chicago, and you're going to San Francisco and LA and Albuquerque, because I think people know who's to blame for the economic mess we're in, and these guys are still living like pigs at a trough. They're giving themselves huge bonuses. They're holding back, not putting anything into the economy when we know we have to rebuild the industrial base to get people back to work. And it's about jobs, it's about fairness.
So what are the politicians in Washington supposed to get out of this? Does this mean that 2012 we're going to just wipe a bunch of them out and bring in new people to run the government? What's the message here?
I think the message ought to be very clear that we're supporting the president's jobs plan, but we also got to hold Republicans accountable who have been making sure that doing everything they could do to make sure there'd be no progress. In fact,
are these Obama supporters, Mr. Gerard?
I think some of them are probably Obama supporters. Some of them are independents. Some of them are just young people that are fed up, that they see that the economy is going. They're industrial workers. I've had probably 10 emails, Ed, today from our members who are saying, "Are we going there? Where can we go?" People are fed up, and they want something done, and these Republicans are the ones going to be held liable, I think.
Do you think...
I saw a bumper sticker that said, "Millions of people are out of work because Republicans want one man's job."
Is this about the Republicans or about our government in general?
I think it's about our government in general. I think for a long time, rotten trade deals, the deindustrialization of the country, the pushing down of the middle class, a stagnant and declining standard of living, more inequality than we've ever seen before, kids that can't go to college because their parents lost their jobs, kids that are living on this in cars because their parents lost their home, and people are just saying enough. We know who's responsible, and politicians are going to have to step up and do something, and they're going to have to help put America back to work. And as I said 1,000 times, we can't do it unless we rebuild the industrial base of America. We got to get to it.
Some say that this has not been very well defined. Is it going to be more defined as it moves forward?
Look, I think that you've got a lot of people with a lot of complaints, and I'm not sure that you need to be defined. I think when you see a spontaneous grassroots movement, it's a spontaneous grassroots movement that's spreading across the country because people are fed up.
Yeah.
Some of it is about jobs, some of it's about the war, some of it about people that aren't being treated fairly, some of it's about voter suppression. All of these things that the rich and the powerful have been trained to use the Republican Party to jam down our throats, people are saying is enough, and they're taken to the street. streets, and we're going to support them. The steelworkers are going to support them. Some of those people in the streets are going to be us and our members. I intend to join them in Pittsburgh.
Okay. And of course, it will be interesting to see who the first politician will be to step up and say, I'm with these protesters. So far, they've been silent. Mr. Gerard, good to have you with us tonight. Leo Gerard, United
My pleasure.
Steelworkers.
Ed, you called it right. Ed, you called it right, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.